Health headlines after last night's Tony Awards showcased some of the best voices. What makes Broadway singing so vocally demanding? Can singing too hard damage your vocal cords? And how to protect your voice? Joining us to talk all about it is Dr. Michael Lerner, Yale Medicine ear, nose, and throat specialist and associate professor at Yale School of Medicine. Doctor, thank you for your time. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I love this topic. Obviously, a lot of people were able to enjoy the Tony Awards. You know, really, the awards showcase some of the best singers in the world. What makes performing on Broadway so demanding on the voice?
Right. So Broadway singers are like the Olympic athletes of singing. The demands on their voices are just tremendous. They're doing 8 shows a week, sometimes 2 shows in a day. So these vocal athletes really take extremely good care of their voices, and they have to project to audiences, 1,000-seat house night after night. So really the highest level of singing there is. They're dancing, they're moving. There's a lot of exercise involved, so it looks really easy, but it's actually extremely hard to do.
And a lot of viewers, may get inspired to sing along to their favorite awards and their performances. Can singing too hard actually damage your vocal cords?
I'm sorry to say that it can. And I get carried away too, and we all get really caught up in the moment. But it's funny how, we know physically that there are certain things that if we do them, like if we lift something too heavy, we might hurt ourselves. But the lift vocally to do what these singers are doing, we absolutely can injure our vocal folds if we're not careful or if we're not conditioned to do that. The vocal cords are really delicate tissue right inside the voice box, and they can become swollen or stiff if they're overly traumatized.
And I have to ask, and somewhat related back to us here in the news business, it's not just singers, but people maybe who just use their professional voice. They are a professional voice user, as I guess people in your line of work call it. What are some simple ways to protect your voice?
Yeah, I think it's important that you mentioned that in my world, a professional voice users are not just the people on Broadway. It's people who rely on their voices for their occupation. But the ways to protect your voice can be pretty simple, actually. The first one is understanding that there's a voice budget. We think we can't run a marathon every day, but vocally, people really ought to think about resting their voices in between major voice demands. And that doesn't mean things like whispering. It really means true voice rest, and that means saving yourself from conversations that you shouldn't have. But also hydration. The vocal folds, you can think of them like the lips. If they get really chapped, or dry, they're more vulnerable to cracking, bleeding, and injury. So hydrating with water, but also sometimes steaming. And things like vocal warm up and cool down actually for, again, not just for the singers, but for people on TV, for our teachers especially, to be able to do that can help reset and take away muscle tension that develops over the course of a day.
Wonderful. Dr. Lerner, thank you for your time. I think you pointed out a good point. Don't talk when you don't need to be talking. I think our floor crew here love to hear that because sometimes we're a little chatty in commercials when we don't need to be. Thanks for your time.
All right. Happy voicing.
Yes.